Hello, this is Wmpyr. I wanted to do a fun video for a change. That makes it sound like my other videos aren't fun. I guess they're more serious. So in this one, I wanted to have fun. So I was going to do a fight scene review or a breakdown. Whatever, something along those lines. This is the Jason Statham knife fight scene. I guess the movie is called Wild Card, and it was from 2015. It's on YouTube. It's also HD. This is the first one I picked, and I never seen the movie, never even heard of the movie, and it's not like this fight scene was recommended. I just picked it out of random, and I watched it, and I'm gonna watch it again and talk to you guys about it. Okay. Oh man, I don't know how to tell you guys. Look, with the current population, I guess where the mind of the current general population is at, we've been so brainwashed from Hollywood. We've been so, how do you call it? I don't know what to say. It's just the way that we see these kinds of things is in a certain way that's so far fetched from reality. And I guess the current general population, they don't really see it that way. I guess it's almost like when it comes to fight scenes, you have the brain of like a 13-year-old or something like that, not an adult brain, but it's like we all expected, even adults watching this kind of movie, we're expected to go back to like that 13-year-old self, which is a fantasy, and the story is not real, and it's supposed to entertain us. I get that, but for me, I can't go to that because I just get turned off by how unrealistic it is. And this, unfortunately, this fight scene is no exception for me. I don't have anything against Jason Statham. And obviously, I mean, it's not him. It's the whole crew. They all came together to make this fight scene, so I can't just blame one person. And by blame, if they made money, that was their goal, good for them. Who am I to judge? So anyway, just saying, for me personally, I get turned off. Like I'm watching a fight scene and I almost have to like shut off my brain and then wait till the fight scene ends and then go back into the story once the story starts going. So that's for a lot of movies and TV shows. I have to do that. So anyway, right here, I'm seeing that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. They all look like they all had handguns. So, and Jason Statham's character is hiding right now, and he's about to take them on. And he's laying down, hiding. He's like way high up, and I gotta give him credit, whoever did the fight choreography, because Jason Statham's character looks to me is a butter knife and a spoon. So that's and it's not a prison scene. So two improvised weapons. So that's creative. That's not something you normally see often. So got to give him credit for picking those two. They're saying we're gonna make a big fight scene with a butter knife and a spoon. So tops for that. Now the next thing is he looks nervous. He looks almost scared. And then he covers up his ears and he goes into like some kind of his safe place, his I guess a place to help him relax. So it's him on a sailboat in a beautiful location on the ocean. And then his eyes he wakes up from it and he's like, it's time to go. And right at that moment, all 5 guys turn back around and they're looking up, and sure enough, Jason's character jumps off from a building and he's going in to attack them. And it really, I have this paused right now. It looks like a superhero coming out, and I wish that he had made that first jump attack silently and immediately took out one guy. If it was me, that's what I would want to do, is immediately, before they realize what's going on, this guy, he makes a jump and he's doing like a Batman pose, in the air, and they all see it. So to me, he wasted opportunity to hopefully possibly take out one guy immediately. So, but for us, lucky us, the viewers, we get to see him go up against all five guys. First guy he punches, second guy brings out the gun, and he makes him shoot the other guy, and then he gets him in an arm wrench, which is cool to see the arm wrench into headbutt. So that is, for me, that is like JKD, Filipino martial arts action going on. Which, let's think about that. He just did an arm wrench and a headbutt. The arm wrench is not from the outside. He actually did it from the inside, which is more rare to see. I think the arm wrench typically taught is from the outside. I personally like doing the arm wrench from the inside a lot. That's one of my favorites. But in order for me to figure that out, because the first time I heard of the arm wrench technique, it was from Jeet Kune Do. It was from one of Sifu Paul Vonek's Jeet Kune Do tapes, and I saw it. I was blown away. But then I was like, I should be able to do the arm wrench in different ways. Like there's more versions of this. And then I was also cross-training karate at the time. And then the upwards block in karate, they say is it's not a block, that it could actually be a joint lock. So that is essentially my connection to the inside arm wrench rather than the outside arm wrench. To figure out the inside arm wrench, I had to go through into my karate background, and then once I found that, I was like, oh, this is awesome, this is really cool. So it became it to this day one of my to-go moves. So he does that, and then a headbutt in Hollywood. This is Hollywood. So in Hollywood, we're seeing Jeet Kune Do type stuff. Man, that's Bruce Lee's legacy right there. Bruce Lee made it into Hollywood, and shortly after passed away, but his stuff is still being used in Hollywood to this day. And I believe at the time, he was ahead of his time, and then even the Jeet Kune Do stuff today, in some ways, I believe is ahead of its time. So it's that's pretty awesome to see that. It kind of makes sense. Why not some other style? Why is it Jeet Kune Do? Because, in the Filipino martial arts is obviously because of the Professor Danny Inosanto connection. So the Jeet Kune Do is in Hollywood, and then Bruce Lee passed away, so it's Professor Danny Inosanto, and he's continuing the Jeet Kune Do stuff, but he's also a FMA guy, so that's in there as well. Makes sense to me. Whether that's indirect or directly, whoever did the choreography, could have, within the fight choreographers group, the Jeet Kune Do was passed along somehow, I believe, and originally from Professor Danny Inosanto. Okay, so then he shoves the guy moves back, makes the other guy behind him fall down, and then Jason Statham looked like he stabbed the guy. Oh, and then he did kind of like one of these strikes while he's still holding the spoon, I believe, or is it the butter knife? I think is in the right hand. Anyway, so the guy immediately goes down. So it's a palm strike. I like that. Rarely do you see that. Holding the weapon, yet still going for an empty hand technique strike. I've strongly recommended that to you guys many times. It's like you have the stick, okay, but sometimes you're too close. So rather than using the stick, just punch the guy with your knuckles. Boom. Even though you're holding the stick. So what he just did right now was he had the butter knife, but he went for a palm strike along the same lines. He used the empty hand technique even though he was holding a weapon. Very cool. Right up my alley. That's awesome right there. So I'm giving props to that kind of stuff. And then here he goes for it's kind of like a parry. He's grabbing the arm, and then he stabs him into the armpit, and then he immediately goes into it's and he stabs the guy into the arm. It's almost like in judo, a kata hajime. It's not exactly an arm triangle choke, but kind of along those lines. He takes the guy's back. He already stabbed him in the eye. He turns him around, and then the other guy picks up a gun and shoots him. Yeah, this is just impeccable, perfect timing, as if he has eyes in the back of his head. Very unrealistic to me. When once you're engaged with one person, our brain tends to just focus on one person. To be paying attention to five is a lot, or let's say even three people or two people that's a lot. That's very, very difficult when all this thing is happening. I know maybe ever since like Jackie Chan movies, we like that idea where Jackie Chan's like, here, over here, this guy, and he's busy. And Jackie was a comedic genius, and you can kind of see him just being scatterbrained and doing that, and it works for him, and it's fun. I don't really necessarily see it as entertaining. I see it more as like, look at this guy. How does he remember the choreography? In that kind of way, it's very fun to watch him do that. It's like wow kind of thing. I don't necessarily watch his stuff going, it's realistic. It's just going, it's amazing to see his physical attributes in that sense. So anyway, in this kind of nitty gritty, this is almost like kind of like what Frank Miller in the comic book world did, where he made the comic books dark and nitty gritty and saying, hey, real crime, because that's what superheroes do. They fight against crime. Real crime isn't, I'm a bad guy, you're a good guy, we're going to battle. And, he wanted to show a different side to that. To me, guys like Jason Statham were doing that in Hollywood. They were like, we're going to do a more, he's almost, I think his character's almost like an anti-hero. He's kind of like a Wolverine. He's not the clean-cut Cyclops or Superman. He's not like that, So for him to be doing a more realistic, nitty-gritty fight scene, but the fight scene doesn't seem realistic to me. To me, that's a little, I'm unhappy there. So rather than seeing him take out five guys like this, I would rather have him just go up against one guy with the butter knife and spoon and just have a dirty, ugly fight like that. Would be much, much more believable to me. And then maybe you find out that after he beats the guy and he, saves the day at that point, he finds out that, from the guy's coat, a pistol falls out. And it's like, oh, that guy he could have pulled that out, and he probably would have shot and killed you. So you got lucky in a way. So that's kind of the harsh reality kind of stuff. I would have preferred way, way more like that than guys taking out their guns and then, of course, making him shoot the other guy, or, all this kind of stuff where it requires perfect timing, perfect manipulation. It's just whatever. But, okay, so they keep going, and so he takes out the guy. So then the guy with the handgun who just shot his buddy now sticks it to Jason, and then that's where Jason sticks the butter knife. And this I gotta admit, it's unique. He sticks the butter knife right where the trigger is and makes it to where the guy cannot pull the trigger. Okay, so he jams the trigger so the guy can't pull it, but the gun's like facing right at Jason. Unique, very unique. I hate it though. I hate it because I'm giving props that it's unique, good for them. I hate it because it's so unrealistic. It requires perfect precision, and like I said, in combat, can it happen? Sure, there's a possibility it can happen. More so by accident, and even that is rare. Okay, so to say I wanted this to happen and I'm going to block the trigger that way really turns me off. Just my personal opinion. So that I want to say that it's kind of similar to a MMA fighter go in, like what Conor McGregor did to Jose Aldo, Scarface, where he knocked him out so lightning quick. and everything like came together and boom. You have to show, and he was like, I was practicing that backstage. It's not luck. It's not luck. It is luck. I mean, it was like so many things came right for that to happen. You know, um, could Jose Aldo have the ability to do that to him? Absolutely. But it didn't happen that way. Um, and to make it like I did that on purpose, and I could do that if you did it on purpose, then that means you could do it again. How come you haven't done that again and again and again? You know, so right here that he does super precision stuff like this, really, it turns me off to see that. I mean, really, what I'm looking at here is a superhero movie. I thought it was a more realistic superhero movie, but no. Now this is almost like he has superpowers. He would be like who in Daredevil, Bullseye. He would be like that level where it's superhuman. Okay, so he does that. It is unique though. He flips the arm over, and there's an okay. So he's kind of doing the Jeet Kune Do from the arm wrench into the uppercut kind of thing, except that's his left arm. So that must be the spoon. He shoves the spoon into the guy's mouth, and then I'm not. It's a little fast, so I don't know if he arm wrenched the guy again or he hit him with the butter knife. But the next guy comes in, and he's going into, looks like a shoulder lock. He's kneeing the guy in the face and throws him down. And then there's still two guys left. He kicks the gun away. So he had a chance to drop the spoon and knife and go for the firearm, but instead he stays with the butter knife and spoon. I don't know if it's because there's a reason for that. Maybe his character has a reason, like he doesn't like guns, or he's traumatized by them, or he's trying to be legal. I don't know what, but when I'm seeing this, why wouldn't you pick up the gun? So unless there's some backstory that I don't know about, it doesn't make sense to do that. Other than he's just Jason Statham's character is a bad mofo, and that's, I believe, the message. So the guy swings at him and he stabs him into the thigh, and then he does one of these movements this way into the other guy's neck, and then punches him after that, and then some kind of stuff, exchange, and then he stabs the guy into the back of the neck. Okay, so what I don't like about what I'm seeing here is he's treating the butter knife and the spoon as a knife, right? Which is fine. That's not what I don't like. What I don't like is what we're seeing here is that in his hands, a butter knife, and a spoon become razor sharp objects. It's like it's no different than a razor sharp knife in his hands, where it shouldn't be. Obviously, it should not be. But I mean, he's like, and I mean, he's stabbing with it, and it's a lethal shank in his arms, which you'd have to be mega strong, I believe, to do something like that, and which he is. Yes, I know he, the actor seems extremely athletic and stuff, but even then, I just think it's a little bit silly, and he is just putting on the beat down. He's kneeing, kicking, and he's shanking. He shanked the guy right in the neck. He pulls it out and he does some kind of twirl, which is completely unnecessary, super showy stuff. Not a big fan of that. I've look, in the Filipino martial arts, when we twirl, it has a purpose. Multiple hits, momentum, recovery from a power move. It's for mobility. It's not for show. So here, I feel like that was all for show. Not a big fan of that. And then he shanks the guy into neck area again. And one guy's left. He stabs the guy into the thigh. blocks with his elbow, stabs him in the back of the neck, and then repeatedly just grabs him like a hockey grab and repeatedly, stabs him hammer fist style. And then here we have a front kick, and there's one last guy remaining. I can't even keep track of who's still up, who's still not, that kind of thing. The guy punches Jason, and he just takes both hits, doesn't seem to care. He's just mad, and he's just showing how tough he is. Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't recommend taking a hit. You never know. You never know who you're dealing with. You never know if the other guy, I mean, they could be a small shrimp, but they might pack dynamite in their fist. You just never know, Sometimes, like I know some people, they don't look like much, but it is a DNA thing that they have very strong. Maybe it's the way their tendons are attached, or there's certain types of muscle groups or whatever. They're explosive. They can hit extremely hard. You can never judge a book by its cover, So anyway, here we go. He takes 2 shots. Now, he does another super accurate thing. The guy goes to punch him again, and he stabs the. This is the butter knife. He stabs the butter knife right into the guy's in between the knuckles, which is brutal, but I hate that. Once again, it shows super accuracy, superhuman level of precision and accuracy, and it's just, yeah, that's super unrealistic to me. Not a big fan of that. And then he hits him in the junk, and looks like he maybe in the midsection again, and now he stabbed it under the chin. And then that's supposed to be, okay, the guy's still alive. He pulls it out. The guy's still alive. The guy's falling down. And I think this is pretty much the end of the fight scene. Please don't show the guy dead. I think the guy's dead. And if the guy died from this just being stabbed right here, I don't think so. But you have to like really, really like damage the tongue and make the tongue roll back up, and then he'd suffocate. It'd still take time. So, yeah, just to stab him here, I don't see. Unless it was something else that made him bleed out, and because he did hit him multiple times. I did like that when he hit him in the junk, it didn't, at least here, maybe I'm wrong, maybe they added the sound effect, but it didn't sound or look like a puncture effect, and it shouldn't have. The guy's wearing, is it jeans or is it pants? And once again, it's a butter knife, so I would think it wouldn't make it through. So it would just hurt like crazy, like a really bad stab. But I don't think it would puncture. And if it did puncture that area, man, I think you could bleed out and die from that. But once again, it's still going to take a little bit of time. So anyway, I wanted to do something fun and happy in a way, but I didn't mean to criticize. There are some things in here that I gave credit to, where I'm like, come on, man, you got to give credit. But there were just so many other things that turned me off, and I wish, I don't know. It's hard for me to see Hollywood fight scenes where I could get excited about, really, in this day and age. That hasn't happened for me in a long time. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.